Something I've realized recently, and I think that some of you might need to hear this. Um, this might be a difficult one, so yeah. You don't owe the world your scars just because you survived what caused them. Okay? And I know that's a strange thing for me to say. I spend quite a lot of time on this channel telling stories about my life. Yeah, mistakes I've made, things I've got wrong, things I'm still trying to figure out. I tell stories because stories matter. Yeah, stories are our history. You know, stories can sometimes become our future. Yeah, sometimes hearing somebody else's stories just helps us feel a little bit less, I don't know, alone. Yeah. So, yeah, stories matter, but I don't think that healing and storytelling are the same thing. Yeah, and that's something I've only just realized. Yeah, that there's a story that immediately comes to mind when I think about this video, and honestly, I'm not ready to tell it. But this is the bit I wanted to tell you. I've realized that is okay for me not to be ready to tell that story, and that is okay. Yeah, I think somewhere along the line we've created this strange expectation that if you've survived something difficult, you should eventually talk about it and explain it and share it. And I don't know, let other people learn from it, I guess, make it a lesson. Yeah, but that makes it as though pain only counts if it's been witnessed. Yeah, as though healing only counts if it's been shared, and that's not true. I don't know, maybe I'm just saying this because I need to hear it out loud myself. Yeah, yeah, because if someone who I do these videos, I spend time talking about myself and things that I've learned, and I think things that I've gone through in my life that I've learned from, and I want other people to be able to learn from them. But if it's okay for me to still keep some stories private, then you can too. Yeah, and that's what I want to tell you today. That's what, if you get anything from any of these videos that I've been doing, that's what I want you to take from this one. Yeah, a lot of people quietly carry this feeling that they need to explain themselves all the time, why they are the way they are, why they find some things hard, why they're struggling, why they left, or why they stayed, why they can't move on. Yeah, and so sometimes explanations matter, especially with people we love, people we trust, especially if you're trying to settle down with them, something like that. And yeah, okay, fair enough, but that doesn't mean that you owe everyone your story. Yeah, so some stories involve other people, some stories are just still being understood. So some stories are open wounds. Yeah, and some are just private. Yes, some stories are sacred. Yeah, sacred. That's a word that we don't use enough. Yeah, sacred. Yeah, that there's experiences in life that become part of us. Yeah, it's not content. Yeah, it's not this. It shouldn't be life lessons or anecdotes of a video. It's it's part of us. It's part of who we are as a person, yeah? And I don't think that turning these experiences into public property is a requirement for moving forward. We've started confusing privacy with shame, yeah? And it people feel that they're hiding something just because they're keeping something to themselves, yeah? Or they feel that they're avoiding dealing with it, yeah? That they feel they haven't dealt with it properly. But privacy isn't shame. Silence isn't denial, yeah? It's not dishonest to have boundaries. You're allowed boundaries. You are allowed to say, I'm not ready to talk about that, yeah? You're allowed to say, I don't want to talk about it. You're even allowed to say nothing at all. You don't have to apologise. You don't have to justify it, yeah? Because you don't have to prove that whatever happened to you was bad enough that it just deserves silence, yeah? Sorry, yeah. Surviving something does not ultimately, it doesn't make it public property, yeah? Some stories do need to be spoken out loud. Maybe to a therapist, so someone trained who can actually help people through this. That is perfectly fine. That works for a lot of people, yeah? Sometimes you just need to talk to people that you trust, yeah? Your close friends, your close family. You know those people, your ride or dies, yeah? Some stories just need to be written down. Not even if they're not read, yeah? Just the act of writing that story down. People can find that healing, cleansing, helpful to help them through whatever this, yeah, let's use the word, whatever this trauma is. Let's use that word, yeah? People do go through trauma, and it becomes part of who you are, quietly. And that is allowed, yeah? Particularly now, when so much of life is being lived publicly. And I hope this doesn't come across as, me being cynical because I'm on a camera saying we shouldn't talk about things on camera. That's not the message that I want to get across. Yeah, maybe this is just my way of giving myself permission to keep things, to not have to tell that story. But I don't know, maybe some of you out there need that permission as well, yeah? You don't owe anybody every chapter of your story. You don't owe anyone a reason, yeah? You're allowed to keep things to yourself. And if these things still shape the person you've become, then they still matter, even if nobody else knows them, yeah? You choose how it ends.